Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are making homemade yogurt with our raw dairy product of milk. So come along, watch it, super easy to make. The two ingredients you need are just milk, and if you have yogurt starter or if you just have yogurt in your fridge, and a couple teaspoons of it. Alright, so here we have our milk. We're putting it up on the stove, heating it up to 180 degrees, which we're already at 178, so I'm about to turn it off here. Basically, you'll just heat it up like this. Once it hits 180, which it just hit 180, you'll turn off your burner and you'll pull it off, and you will let this cool down to 110 degrees. Once it is cooled to 110 degrees, you'll want to have a slow cooker ready. I have my slow cooker right here, and basically you'll put it in the slow cooker and you'll keep it at a certain temperature, and you'll kind of let it clabber, and it's for so many hours. But I'll come back and I'll show you that as soon as this goes back down to 110 degrees. Super easy process. Okay, so while my milk is cooling off to about 110, right now it's about 130, I figured I'd give you guys a couple tips and just let you know how long your homemade yogurt will last in your fridge. Homemade yogurt will last at least 2 weeks if you do it right. You want to use milk, preferably fresh milk, preferably raw, but again, you don't have to use raw. You also can use milk that is more like a couple days old. You don't want to use it too close to the expiration date though. Same with your yogurt. So your yogurt or your starter you're going to use, preferably if you wanted to keep an organic Greek yogurt going, you would use an organic Greek yogurt starter to keep that going, and not just any old yogurt you would buy at the store that's non-organic. But otherwise you can use whatever you have. So you can use non-organic if you don't have organic. You can also use non-Greek yogurt. So whatever yogurt you have in your fridge will work for it. But don't use yogurt that's near the expiration date. So this will keep 2 weeks in the fridge. I'm going to use my slow cooker. I actually plugged it in on the counter behind me, but I'm about to go ahead and show you guys the rest of this. And if you guys have any questions, drop them below and I'll answer. So like I said, I do have my milk right now is at 130 degrees, so we have a little bit longer to wait. I went ahead and plugged this in over here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to heat this up, and on the warm setting for a slow cooker, it tends to hold at like about 145 degrees. You want your yogurt to hold at about 110 degrees. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to warm this up, and then I'm going to put my yogurt in, and I'm going to turn it off, and I'm going to wrap this up with paper towels. Now, when it comes down to time, how long this is going to sit in there and clabber, basically you can keep it in there up to 24 hours, so it's 6 to 24 hours. The longer it sits, the harder it will become, and also the thicker it will become. So it's totally a preference. If you want yogurt for your children that's not as tart because your children don't like tart yogurt, then only keep it in there for 6 to 8 hours. If you want yogurt that's in between, a little more tart, a little more thick, keep it in there for 8 to 12. And if you want yogurt that is really tart, really thick, keep it in there for 24. So that will be the timing on this. Again, waiting for this milk to go down. Right now, see, I don't have an organic yogurt on me, but I have a Greek yogurt, and this is what I'm going to go ahead and use to show you this time. And all I need is a couple teaspoons, so it's basically an empty container, and I'm just going to scrape out a couple teaspoons. And it can be a teaspoon per quart. If literally all you have is a teaspoon per quart of milk, or you can throw it into up to a couple tablespoons. So, all right, I went ahead and I whisked my yogurt into here, so I'm going to take off my thermometer. And I'm actually going to leave my thermometer over here to use for my slow cooker to make sure it kind of stays at 110. So I'm going to go ahead and put this slow cooker's been warmed up, and I already unplugged it. So I'm going to dump my stuff in. Mixed pretty good. And then basically I'm going to cover it up. We're going to put the lid back on. We are going to secure it, and we are going to cover it with some towels to try to keep it warm. And then every now and again I'm going to make sure it's staying at about 110 degrees. And it should stick around 110. If it doesn't, you can always warm it back up again. So I will put one on the top, and I will go ahead and wrap one around. And then I'm going to leave mine for about 24 hours. So tomorrow I will come back to finish up this video. Okay, so I actually set this up to where I usually slow cookers, and I wasn't thinking about this. They usually have a little hole in the top, so I went ahead and put my thermometer down in there, and then you see it's kind of reading a little higher than 110, probably because it was still pretty warm. So I secured my things around my towel, and then I just have to wrap a towel or two around the base of it. So we'll keep this at 110 and we'll come back tomorrow. Alright guys, so last night I left this, I had it all wrapped up in these towels over here, and I went ahead and I put it inside of my oven just to stay warm, even more warm than it already was going to stay. When I woke up this morning, it was at about 82 degrees, which is lower than I'd prefer. It's better to keep it around 90 to 110. Before I went to bed, I made sure it was at 110. I heated it up a little bit more, but it's not ruined. So basically, I'm just going to go ahead and put this in a container, a sealable container, and put it in the fridge. Let me show you texture-wise what we're at, because this is not 24 hours. This is about 21. So it's a pretty thick texture. I have not strained it or anything. So that is our yogurt. And it's got a really good flavor, actually. So no sweetener, nothing in it. I went ahead and drained off the top of the liquid that was out here. Some people strain this to make it even thicker. If you want to strain it, strain it. Otherwise, put it in a container and it'll keep in the fridge for about 2 weeks. I hope you guys enjoyed watching my how-to on making your own homemade yogurt. And I'll be sharing a lot more coming this week, so keep watching for those, and thank you for all your support.